also like hometown comedy, right? Like it's cool to be able to do something here. I don't live out here anymore, but it's awesome to be able to do a show right next to my dad's house. You know, like just in town. It feels good, and then people that wouldn't otherwise make the drive come out, and then maybe they'll make the drive to see something farther away because they think they see, oh, this is actually good. This isn't like painful. Because you never know. I mean, we've all been invited to our friend's one-man show where you're like, am I going to just myself that morning instead of going to this? Like, I would rather. Like, it's more likely, you know?
This is the sound of my body. Coming through your stereo, live on the radio. This is the sound of my body. Coming through your stereo, live on the radio. We stood the test of time and made it through just fine. Live for these beats and lines. Turn up the volume, carry the meters. Don't ask us where we've been. We'll fight until the end. So here we go again to see what we could push out your speakers.
Welcome
had
to
one
the
job.
MNO Show with Harrison Scopes.
Was
was
the
good.
one? Was that the
That was
one?
nice. Yes, let's roll with
I
that.
feel
Go.
welcome.
John said you had one job. When we all know you have like 12.
If not, we'll fix it in post.
He's got 18 jobs.
Scopes.
Welcome,
Scopes.
Harrison.
Harry Scopes.
I feel that's me.
Okay, so you were saying you were Googling?
I
comedy?
was Googling comedy today.
Okay. And
There's a
what'd
lot
you
of
find?
comedy on the internets.
Yes.
The World Wide Web has a lot
There's
of comedy.
a lot of things.
I was thinking, like, are there, like, you know, fears of, like, comedians have all these fears.
Sure.
I mean, they usually bring it out on stage, but
Yep.
do they have, like, fears of, like, doing the comedy? And I saw that there's a lot of, you know, things with theater, like, you know,
Yeah, leave the light on and don't break a leg. Don't say the name of that one play that you could say
Macbeth.
that Macbeth. Yeah, I mean,
this isn't theater. We can say Macbeth. Say Macbeth. You know, that was a thing?
I did not.
Isn't it
this
Macbeth?
is going to be the last podcast. And we all die in a fiery car crash after this. I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Like I said, I mean, for people's careers, it's the on or off switch. You know, this
Yeah.
is,
That's right.
That's it.
if you make it through.
If I make it through, it's a torture chamber.
So I saw you recently at Naughty Pine.
Oh, did you?
Yes, with the Emo Fest.
At Emo Fest, yeah, we just went up and made fun of each other at
Yes,
that one to fill some time.
Yes, you and Nate.
Yep.
And yeah, you guys were hilarious.
We had a lot of fun that night.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was.
I mean, who wouldn't have fun making fun of Nate?
It's
Yeah.
too easy. It's kind of like my career at this point.
Yeah. It was pretty no holds barred.
Yeah, it's easy to fall upward.
They went deep into the.
Oh, yeah.
deepness.
I make fun of his dad that abandoned him.
That's for Josh. Yeah.
He makes fun
Yeah,
of my
bring it
dead
up. You're
mom.
good. Come on
you know,
in.
he we're not afraid.
Yeah, there was a lot of mom jokes.
Oh yeah.
A lot of beating each other up about physical appearance.
Yep. As one does.
Yeah.
Why comedy? You know, I mean, you know, like I was thinking.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm alive. Why don't I try the hardest thing in front of people?
Yeah.
Right?
Whenever everybody says that, it almost validates why I do it, because it's like, to me, it's so easy to just get up and be stupid or like say things, but to everyone else, public speaking is like the worst thing that's ever happened to them. And so it's like a powerful thing to just say like, oh, do you want me to get on stage for this, that, and the other? Like, I'd be happy to do it. And I've just kind of been doing that my whole life via like whatever form of entertainment has come my way. And then stand-up was kind of like the final thing that I landed on that I think was what I really wanted to be doing the whole time. But because of that, it was probably the thing I was the most afraid of. And then eventually you just come around to the fact that it's like, I got one life to live. Am I going to start this when I'm 40, or am I going to start it tomorrow?
What was
And
the first joke that you told on stage?
The first joke that I told on stage, I'll say the first joke that I told on stage once I committed to stand-up full-time, because I did it periodically, kind of randomly throughout like the past 10 years, but it was after my mom had passed, and the first joke I tell is, my mom just died, which sucks. It sucks for me. It sucks for you guys. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. It sucks the most for my dad, though. It sucks the most for my dad because now he has to fill the role of both my mother and my father. And that's a really hard thing for him to do because I have an Oedipus complex. So now I don't just want to kill my dad, I want to fuck him too.
That's rough.
Came out the gate swinging with that one. And then, we evolved from there.
That's funny. How does your dad like that joke?
Dad does not know that one. No, Dad has not come to a show yet. He's actually coming to a show next month. We have got a big show next month that I'm going to allow him to come to for the first time.
Was he not allowed?
I told him he couldn't come.
You weren't ready for that.
There's too much I can be pretty loose and talk about whatever in front of anybody except for him. He's like the one person, and that's pretty detrimental to like comedy in general.
Right.
So I was like, let me put together like kind of a curated 10 minutes that isn't going to make you feel bad or disappointed or whatever.
You're gonna do the comic thing where you point out your dad in the.
I will,
show?
yeah, I
And then-
will.
and
Well,
you're
because
gonna-
I'm gonna make fun of him. I got some
Right.
stuff in there that he's gonna appreciate. You know, you got to make him part of the show. He's got to feel special, right? So we'll do that.
Then he'll turn into a staple in your shows. If it
Yeah, if
goes
he's
well.
not there, I bomb. It's like it's my entire career revolves around my mom dying and my dad being at the show. So
So normally we drink beer. We go, let's drink, and then we drink some beer. We don't have beer, but this is a seltzer water. I would
Ooh.
like for you to try.
I will gladly
That
try
has
it.
it's grapefruit. It's Tarantula Hill seltzer.
Okay,
You like that?
I didn't even have to fake it. It was good.
Yeah, right on.
There you go.
And we're drinking Conejo Pilsner.
All right.
So
Cheers.
cheers, everyone.
Cheers to some bad luck. I'm not afraid.
And then also, we eat. There'll be food coming shortly. We're gonna taste some Tarantula Hill food.
Taste some tacos.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Okay. Anyways, sorry, that was it. Carry on with.
No, my career is one thing, but the tacos at Tarantula Hill are another. That's what we need to be talking about.
Well, I mean, tacos are important.
Yes, they are.
You've had a taco before?
Once or twice.
No, I literally was with some Belarusians a year and a half ago in Mexico. I can't really explain. This sounds really weird now. I was to explain this. We're eating tacos, and they're like, "What is this?" And my friend's like, "It's a taco." Oh, you never had a taco?
Wow,
This dude's 45 years old, never had a taco.
that's
I
sad.
dated a girl that had never eaten a sandwich.
How's that possible?
Would she
I don't
live in a
know.
cave? Like, how do you not
she
eat a
lived
sandwich?
in Agora Hill, the cave of Agora Hills, yeah. But she
have a
never had eaten a
sandwich.
sandwich until she was like 20
Sandwich,
years old.
sandwiches
I for
happen
real.
on like accident.
I know.
Wait a second.
I know. It was her own personal Vietnam. No
Interesting.
sandwiches.
I can't even fathom that. Like crackers with peanut butter. I mean, that's the sandwich, right?
Yeah.
You've never had a sandwich?
Nope.
She lied to you about a lot of things.
Yeah.
No, just that. That was. She was like, I cheated on you. I did all these terrible things, but the sandwich thing, I'm really gonna double down on that. If you don't
She's
believe
gonna
me on
double
this.
decker down on that
Yeah, that's right. No, she's gonna KFC double down on that one. So it doesn't count if it's not bread. But yeah, I mean the superstitions of comedy.
Yes,
it's an
the
interesting.
superstitions
I
of
don't.
comedy.
I don't personally have very many.
I think there has
that-
to be some.
I think that there
And-
is a
and-
superstition that you bomb when you invite people. So that,
Oh,
and
that
it's
is
like
a thing.
it's like inviting your family for the first
Okay.
time. Every comic's always like, you always do shitty the first time you invite your family.
Oh.
So that I think is one of them. But I don't
Right.
have anything where it's like, gotta wear this pair of underwear, or like nothing that's like. I feel like the superstitions in comedy's all about like being real, right? Like a comedian is not gonna go home and believe it. I feel like in a lot of superstitions, like truth in comedy, like you have to be real about what's going on. So I think that the superstitions are more like, yeah, you do bad in front of your family because you're nervous and you want to make them happy. Like I think it's more rooted in reality. Because if it's not,
Well,
What are
comedy
you
is
doing?
reality, right?
Yeah.
Comedy's talking about the things that people aren't talking about that
Yep.
we all think.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you might have a different thought about it, but you bring it up and people are like, oh my gosh.
no, yeah. If you can think of something that everybody has thought, but they don't feel like everyone else has thought it, and then you can bring a whole room together on like an idea.
Right.
That's like
That's really interesting.
that's such a great way to get an audience going.
Yeah, I think like kind of the core of art is basically like representing for your time, right?
Yeah.
Like creating art is basically like, you're laying it down and then
Snapshot.
yeah, it's a snapshot of your exact moment in time, and comedy is like one of the greatest versions of that because you're not like when you're writing a song, you're stuck between bars and like there's so many things you have to rhyme and all these different things that or
Comedians are stuck between bars too.
like in a sense,
and
yeah,
nightclubs.
absolutely
It's true.
but yeah, there's a freedom there though that like that's I think to me unlike any other art form, whatever.
You get to be whatever you want,
Yeah,
and you get to be. you also get to decide, am I going to be like this type of comic, or like, am I going to do stories, one-liners, observational? Like, am I going to put on a persona when I go on stage? Am I going to be myself? I mean, you definitely have a lot of freedom. I think you have less freedom when it comes to like the longevity of your material. Like, you write a great song, it's going to be great for 60 years. I don't know if a lot of people are going to want to listen to, my take on the current political climate, 4 years from now. So I think
Right.
there's...
And another thing, well, I was going to kind of segue into Tool stuff, but one of the things that's big in on that list of things or whatever is ageism. And speaking to someone who's from a different generation, it seems like currently, like, young people, and I'm not saying currently, I'm sure it's always been this way, but like young people sort of only listen to young people.
Sure.
Like, they're getting all their information from young people who might not necessarily be the best people to speak on some of the life lessons. Some things, obviously, yes. There's like a thing about like knowledge and wisdom is basically knowledge.
Why do you think, or why do you perceive that young people only listen to young people these days?
Well, it's got to be now
because
more
of
than ever.
social media.
Because you can,
Because of
you
social media,
don't
yeah.
have to get information from anyone you don't
Yeah.
want to. I could go get the news from a 12-year-old. I'm sure there's a 12-year-old on TikTok with 1 million followers that reads headlines.
Yeah.
And if you decide that that's where you want to hear everything, I mean, it's any type of echo chamber. It's all like that, right? And if you're liberal, you can only listen to liberal people. If you're conservative, you can put Fox News on every night, and that's all you ever hear.
Yeah.
Right.
You can decide where you get everything so much easier than before.
Yeah.
Because
But
it's all
young
at your
people are
fingertips.
making the decisions now.
Yes. That's
Versus,
what
like-
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
I mean,
past,
I think of how information passed historically, right? Like, to pre any media, right? It would have been, I mean, maybe this is a horrible generalization of how things were, but like, let's say it was back in the day, and like the elders or the wise people, they would tell the stories
Right.
of history,
Right.
and young people would come and listen to them, and they would basically tell it, and so.
and then even when media came and you had TV and
Yeah.
radio, it was top down,
Exactly.
age-wise,
Yeah.
right?
Yep,
It was the older
exactly.
people that
Yes.
can create this
You
stuff.
had to wait your turn.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like...
Yeah.
Now it's bottoms up.
Now you can get out there ahead of all
Yeah.
the older people, and it's almost like you used to have to wait for those people to die,
Right.
and then it's like then
Yeah.
you get your
Yeah,
chance
exactly.
for your opinion to be the opinion.
Yeah.
And now, because of the way everything is, it's like
no need to
it's
wait.
not like that. It's like your opinion, your perspective will die before you,
Right.
because they get the opportunity.
It's like you said, the key word there is perspective, right? So now we know that so when there was only 3 channels that everyone got all their information from on cable, whatever, basically, we kind of now realize that, like, yeah, even at that time, there was a perspective. There was a spin on it, right? There was like,
Right.
and like, us all as being Americans, whatever. So you're getting the American spin. And then as it broadened, people started realizing, like, oh wait, there's a spin on this, and
Yeah.
so if every spin has there's
Sure.
another side of every coin or whatever. So people started questioning that, and then that and now we're at the point where, like, everything is being questioned, and like you said, there's these polar opposites on every spectrum, and and then another thing that we talk about is that obviously, like, most of us reside in the middle.
Yeah.
Where it's not so polarized and things make more sense.
Sure.
But the people who are on the polls are speaking the loudest and
Yeah.
making the biggest scene, so they're getting the most attention. And then some people are confused by that. So that bell curve before, that used to be really thin on the ends, has now broadened.
Right.
Right? There's more people who are pushing out into the crazy.
Oh yeah. And I think that's an interesting thing when it comes to comedy too. Is it's like, to make fun of somebody, you have to know the other side. So I think that, like, in the community that I'm kind of a part of, you're more used to encountering people that are like, this is what I believe, but I'm also very well versed in, like, what the other side
Yeah.
thinks.
That's
Because
good.
if you don't know that,
Yeah.
how are you going to make fun of somebody?
Yeah.
Or, like, make a joke about something when it's like, you should be in touch with everyone's
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, you can't walk in blind
No.
on that one.
No.
Yeah.
Especially today.
Especially today.
Right. So tell us a little bit about the comedy that you're doing right now. I mean, I know, like, some comedians go through cycles, right? They write,
Sure.
they put their stuff together, they go out,
Yeah.
they do their stuff. Maybe they get an opportunity to record it.
Yep.
Then they go back and write.
Yeah,
and then
it's so different now.
Yeah.
It's so different now as someone who's I've been committed full-time comic for the last year. And I think that looking at the people that are maybe a little bit ahead of me and a little bit behind me and kind of like how people are elevating themselves within social media and stuff, it's just so different. I mean, gone are the days of being like, I hope one day I get a Comedy Central special and then I'm on a sitcom. I mean, that is
Right.
like, those are way behind you. And you have to learn from the people who are right ahead of you too, because I could look at Bill Burr and think, I love him. He's one of my favorite comics. How does his process apply to what I'm doing as someone who couldn't fill, 20 seats in a room if he had to? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, it's so different. And so I've found that the comedy game right now is all about constantly writing, getting a good clip, putting it out on social media, and just getting your name out there. Being like, people learn to respect you as a comic the more they see your stuff get traction, and
Right.
they see, oh, that was good. Oh, there's another one that was good. Maybe I'll put him on my show. You kind of just fighting for stage time and fighting for respect, or people to see you as, oh, this guy was just starting. Oh, he's kind of elevated himself to having like a small following. To, oh, he has some videos that have like a good amount of views, and just kind of like that ladder climb is, I feel like, where I'm at, and like I see the people that are, I think, a little bit ahead of me, and I think that's kind of the game that they played.
Right.
And then eventually you get to the point where, oh, I can perform to like sold out rooms, a lot, and then your process changes, and then your process becomes, I'm gonna hold on to this until maybe it does become a special, or maybe I will put out a 20-minute tape or something like that.
Bring on the chef.
What do you got, chef?
We had the Al Pastor tacos.
Oh,
Ooh.
pastor tacos.
Ooh,
Wonderful.
this looks good.
Tell us about it.
Well, we have some pork marinated with our double Al Pastor marinade, sweet onions, salsa verde, roasted pineapple,
Roasted pineapple,
cilantro mix.
cilantro mix, onions. How did you tell me again about how you marinated the pork? Grab one of those, Harrison.
We marinated our
Guajillo spices.
What is that? Is that Hawaiian?
It's a chili.
Is it chili?
Chili.
Okay.
Grab one of those.
Chili, like hot chili. This is guajillo.
Hot chili.
That's right. You knew a Jew was coming when you cooked the pork. You guys prepared.
I thought we were doing the shrimp ones. Sorry. I don't know if that's really a thing
I don't care.
for you. Hey, do you want a lime?
No, I'm good.
No.
But I would
Lime?
love a napkin.
Napkins?
Thank you.
Well, that's awesome.
Everybody always thinks Harrison Ford. That's what I go.
That's what-
That's what I go with in the drive-through.
Gotcha.
People can't hear me. I'm like Harrison Ford, and that doesn't even work anymore. People don't know who Harrison Ford is.
That's
so
sad.
I need there to be a new famous Harrison. Harry Styles doesn't cut it.
No.
Yeah. So
Well, that's pretty. I mean, either way, Harrison Ford or the Beatles was.
You can't
either
go
one-
wrong.
Either one was good with me.
no, it was a good choice.
Yeah.
It was the tiebreaker because my grandpa was Harry and my mom's dad was Robert, and they were like fighting. And then my dad was like, okay,
so
but
it's a
how
double
about
meaning with the
Harrison?
Harry.
It's a double meaning, yeah. But that was like the tiebreaker that really changed it was Harrison, and that's what got my mom to come around and not name me Robert. So that's my middle
nice.
name.
Could have been Bob.
Would have been Bob.
Bob
Yeah.
Scopes.
Bob Scott. I'm glad I'm not Bob.
Would have been BS. Your initials would have been BS.
Well, then my initials would have matched my energy. But
Have you ever watched? There's a documentary on Disney
oh yeah,
about the
I
Beatles.
watched
So
it the day it came out with my
Yeah,
dad. We
okay.
sat there and we binged the whole thing. Loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Would I recommend it to a casual fan? Probably not.
No, definitely
But to
not.
like a diehard fan that wants to watch them sit in a recording studio for 6 hours, yes. Dude, you get to watch Paul McCartney like come up with
Yeah.
come together.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
or
Really
what, no,
cool
Get Back.
documentary.
He just like spontaneously writes Get
Yeah.
Back out
Yeah.
of like frustration, and you're just like, and then watching them write the lyrics to the songs, and you know them, and you're waiting
Yeah.
for them to like.
I'd never seen the
find it.
dynamic before that documentary. I didn't
Yeah.
know their dynamic.
It's different than what people expect.
Super
Everybody
different, yeah.
thinks John is going to be
Everyone
the
thinks
worst,
John,
and
yeah.
Yoko is going to be such a. It's just their egos got in the way, and like,
Yeah.
I'm not one of those like Yoko haters.
Yeah.
I don't really think she broke up the Beatles. I just think it was kind of destined to happen. Wish it didn't though.
But it's definitely it's interesting to see. There's like songwriters, like they're, they actually, I mean, like you think about like four dudes in that band, four like of the best songwriters in history. Is that music coming up in here?
It must be.
Let me actually tell them if they can turn it down a little bit.
That's
'cause
cranking?
It's a little loud.
Yeah, let's pause
Yeah,
for a
it,
sec.
might, it might cause like a problem.
Yeah.
I always like good non-alcoholic options. I've never been a drinker. It just makes me sick. I don't have a cool reason. I've
You
not-
might be allergic to
I
alcohol.
didn't have party
Yeah,
days.
maybe
yeah,
maybe you're allergic to it.
it's possible. I
Yeah.
get a hangover one beer and I feel like shit. Like immediately like hungover the night of, and then the next day I don't feel good.
So that doesn't have any alcohol in it.
That's no alcohol, yes. Yeah. I wish I had that.
it's an okay problem to have.
Yeah.
John's like, I wish I had that.
Fuck. Let's get drunk.
Bottoms up. Drink them for me, boys.
No, the taco was awesome.
Yeah, it was
That-
really good.
We just had breakfast pizza the episode before. That was,
Yeah.
I would have just ate that until I couldn't eat anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing a breakfast pizza for Sunday football, Sunday mornings.
Nice.
So, do you have the NFL ticket then, or you
Yeah,
just
we just bought it today. Guess how much that shit costs?
So much for a business, right?
Yeah.
I don't even want to know.
Guess.
$14,000?
Damn, that was pretty good. 14,000 on the nose.
No, I
Nailed
was
it.
gonna go 14.9, and I just went 14.
He did his research.
No, I just shut my
Yeah.
eyes and I get information.
No, it's based on our occupancy, so like it would be tough to do the formula, but
I did the
it
formula.
was 12,000.
Yeah, he was right.
It was 12,000 the first year. It's gone up to 14. For us to do like pay-per-view, like UFC, they same thing. They based on our occupancy. I think it's like 10 grand for one
per
fight.
episode
Yeah.
or per.
That's insane, though. Could you I don't think that you couldn't make that
No.
back. That's wild.
Yeah, you'd have to charge.
You have
You
to
know,
sell like gold.
you'd have
I
to
mean,
charge,
you'd have to charge
you
like
have
a
to charge an
$20 door
admission,
at least.
exactly,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
which would never work here, so it's just
No.
not an option.
I mean, I've come when I've lived in Thousand Oaks my whole life. If a bar says I want you to pay to come in, I just go home.
yeah,
I don't pay a cover fee in Thousand Oaks.
yeah,
Kidding me?
yeah. It's true.
How far do you have to drive to pay a cover fee? You have to-
It's
you
really
have-
not. I mean,
you
it's
have to
not a
spend-
drive
You have to spend
thing.
some gas.
It's really just like a matter
I was,
of like,
like I said, I went deep into your YouTube. I saw the post about your old car and your new car.
you went in on the Instagram.
I went real
Are we
deep.
going? Are we
Yeah,
live?
Are we recording?
This should be live.
We're good. We got it.
Yeah, we're rolling.
Alright, we're
Okay,
in.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
I went deep on your Instagram.
Tell me
deep.
more about myself.
Well, like I said, I think there was a stage where you got into fitness.
Oh yeah,
I think there's a stage you got into acting, maybe.
acting was always the dream. That was
Okay.
my dream since I was like a little kid, and I still go to the movies and I think, God, I just want to be like. I just saw the new Top Gun. Holy shit, that
So
movie
good.
is so fucking good. It's like
So good.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you like watch that movie and you're just like, oh my God, I wish I was in this movie. And I think that like, but I've done enough acting to know that acting sucks. Like acting is the worst. It's the worst.
Like lifestyle or
Lifestyle, the act of acting is like just awful. I mean, the amount of effort you have to put into.
then I think you probably don't want to be an actor.
No, but as
No.
I
think
got
you have to
older, I
enjoy it.
learned that when I was a kid, I
Yeah.
thought that was my dream, and as I got into it, it's like the amount of effort you have to put into learning things that never go anywhere, the amount of stuff you film that never gets seen by anybody, and the juxtaposition between that and comedy, where it's like I can think of an idea, oh that's funny, I'll write it. One night I'll smoke a bunch of weed and I'll write 10 minutes of material, then I'll take it to an open mic, and then if it's good, I can bring it to a stage with 100 people like the next week, and it's immediate feedback, and then I know it's good, and people can see it, and like my friends and family can come see me. But acting is like, you get a script, you memorize it, you work so hard, you send it in, you don't get the part, you do that 100 times, you finally get the part. It's a 50-50 whether it even gets made. I mean, the process. I'm definitely not in love with the process.
Self-taping in,
which
in
has
your
become
room and then send it
way
in,
bigger.
and you don't even know if they even ever watched
Yep.
it.
Post COVID, now they want to self-tape before they even look at your headshot. And I'm like, I know you're going to tell me I'm too Jewish. I know you're going to tell me my nose is too big or I'm too dorky or not dorky enough. Look at the headshot first. That was like my perspective. Is it's like you have me doing a 7-minute tape, but you haven't even looked at my headshot. That's wild to me. That was one of the things that pushed me out of that. I just was like, I can't do this. This is so much work.
So comedy is a faster loop for you.
Yeah, it's a faster. Yeah, it's like the instant gratification, and it's also, I think that realistically, I'm probably a better comic than I was an actor. I mean, like I've always been okay at acting. I've done some cool stuff, but never anything incredible. And I definitely feel like I'm in the right place with comedy. So I think it's just like everything lined up.
Right.
Yeah.
The other one last thing I noticed in your Instagram, you like
Okay.
to wear a lot of white.
I do.
You wear more white than the average human.
I do. I feel like white stands out, and I always want to. Whenever I dress for like stage, I always want to be memorable for what I said and the way I looked and everything. Because the clips, the Instagram clips, is a big part of it. Somebody looks at your thing and they have 4 reasons to not swipe away. Oh, this is what he's saying is funny. I like the way he looks. This is interesting. Just to hook them in to hear the first 5 seconds of the clip so they can see if they really want to listen to it.
So interesting that you're thinking about what this is going to look like on camera when you're live in front of audiences.
I am. Yeah, I am. Always.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Every time I go on stage, every time I go, I mean, this outfit that I'm wearing right now, I mean, this is I love performing here. This venue is more of something that it's like I work something out before you bring it to like a club.
Right.
But I still tape this because if you have like a really good crowd work interaction, like something that will never happen again, it's like you want to put that out. So I'm always prepared for something to go, to the social media. So whenever I'm on stage, I always think about what I'm wearing.
How many times have you performed at Tarantula Hill?
Probably 10.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, for people who don't know, last Monday of every month, 8-legged comedy.
Mm-hmm. Booked and ran by Nate
You're-
Adamski.
Actually, yeah, when I was here last month,
Yep.
I watched it and I thought, hey, we should have some of these guys on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Great
you're one of
decision.
them. I thought it was pretty good.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, it's so much fun. I mean, it's to also like hometown comedy, right? Like it's
Yeah.
cool to be able to do something here. I don't live out here anymore, but it's awesome to be able to do a show right next to my dad's house. Like just in town. It feels good, and then people that wouldn't otherwise make the drive come out, and then maybe they'll make the drive to see something farther away
Right.
because they think they see, oh, this is actually good. This isn't like painful. Because
Yeah.
you never know. I mean, we've all been invited to our friend's one-man show where you're like, am I going to just kill myself that morning instead of
Yeah.
going to this? Like, I would rather. Like, it's more likely, And then you go and you're like, this is the worst hour of my life, So
I was
think it's
very apprehensive about doing comedy here because of that. Like, I've been to some
Sure.
comedy shows where it's like you said,
Yes.
it's just death. You're like, oh my God. And
Yeah.
then Nate
he puts it
showed
together.
up and
yeah.
he put together every month he puts together a legit
Yep.
group of people, and everybody has a blast, and even like the ones who like are kind of bombing, it's still
Supportive. It's still
it's
a good
it's
space.
just a good vibe.
It's a good
Yeah.
space. It's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
It's good to cultivate like a scene,
Yeah.
like out here. Like it's nice to have a scene. Like we do
Yeah.
this, we do another show, in Westlake, and it's like it's nice to have this little thing where it's like, hey, maybe you don't want to come to LA, but if you want to see me twice a month, you can see me in Thousand
Yeah.
Oaks and Westlake.
right.
It's bomb.
Yeah.
Bomb.com.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
Let's cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And have you performed yet tonight, or are you going on?
I went up early so I could make it to this.
Oh,
so
thank
I
you.
went up like
Thank you.
second.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
Okay, cheers.